All right, Mario, it's that time of the year again. We got you with the NBA playoffs. So since we don't record on the weekend, we're gonna talk about all the games that are happening in the weekend. We'll give you the stats, we'll give you the predictions. So with that being said, Mario, let's get started with the first series starting tomorrow, 2 p.m. at the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. Give it to me. It's the number 6 seeded Heat and the number 3 Heat seeded Bucks. All right, Mario, let's get to it. Okay, so let me get to some stats real quick for these teams. Milwaukee Bucks average 120.1 points per game comparison to the Miami Heat's 108.1. Rebound wise, the Bucks beat them out by 48.1 in comparison to Heat's 41.5. As for assists, the Heat actually beat them out on that, Mario. 26.3 assists per game, then in comparison to the Milwaukee's 25.5. Field goal percentage, they have Bucks have 48.7. He have 46.3. 3-point percentage, the Bucks again have 38.9%, and the Heat have 35.8%. And free throw percentage, the Bucks have 76 and the Heat has 79. So they haven't been on that as well. As for blocks and steals, I'll start off with the steals. The Bucks have 8.1 steals per game, and the Heat have 7.9 steals per game. And blocks, Bucks have 4.6 blocks per game, and Miami, he have 4 blocks per game. So they're really even on defense. As for offense, it's lopsided, but defense, it looks like it's relatively even. They're not that far off of each other. By like a couple of points. See what I did there? Points. All right, look. It's redemption season for the Bucks. Obviously last year they lost the series to the Heat in 5 games, which is something they need to happen, but which is something that a lot of people did not predict happen. But I got the Bucks winning, but the only way they're gonna win this series, right? And this is something that they haven't really shown that much in the playoffs the last couple of seasons. They need to stay consistent. All right. That's what cost them last year in the second round, and that's what cost them in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Raptors a couple years ago. You need to stay consistent. It's that simple. All right. I don't care if the team is a number 6 seed or a number 1 seed. You need to be consistent, and that's that. That's your job. I got the Bucks either way, but my only issue with the Bucks is that they need to stay consistent. It's something that I haven't been doing in the playoffs in the last couple of years, which I don't want to hold that. That's what they that's what they're constantly going to do. I'm not going to say that, but they need to be consistent if they want to make a deep run. So at the end of the day, I still got the Bucks winning, but that's just one thing that they need to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got the Bucks in 6. And look, I love Jimmy Butler. He's my favorite player, and I will be rooting for the Heat because I like Jimmy Butler that much. But again, give me the Bucks in 6. I just think Giannis remembers exactly what happened, and I don't think a second opportunity to beat that team comes around. So I got the Bucks win this game. I think defense. I think it's gonna be more of a defensive game than an offensive game, to be honest with you. But I can definitely see Giannis having a couple great games to get his team over that hump. So I got the Bucks winning in 6 games.
Right, absolutely. Let me just go to the next Eastern Conference game. Give it to me, Mario. It's the number 7 Celtics and number 2 Nets. Jesus Christ, I am not gonna have fun watching this one. All right, let's get to it, guys. All right, before you guys crap on me in the comments down below for being a Celtics fan, let's just get to the damn stats, shall we? I'll start off with the Nets. They have 118.6 points per game comparison to the Boston Celtics 112.6. So at least they don't have that much of an advantage. Rebound wise, Mario, they're actually really damn close. If Brooklyn Nets have 44.4 rebounds per game, and the Celtics have 44.3, so they're really close on them on that. As for assists, the Nets have 26.8 assists per game and 23.5 assists per game. So again, they're very close, Mario. Both teams have 5.3 blocks per game, which is again, they're basically like head on with each other. As for steals, the Nets have 6.7 and the Celtics have 7.7 steals per game, so they have an advantage of them over that. Field goal percentage, the Brooklyn Nets are 49.4 and the Celtics have 46.6. So again, not that much of a difference. 3-point percentage, the Nets have 39.2, Celtics have 37.4. So again, it's not lopsided. Nets free throw percentage is 80.4 and the Celtics is 77.5. So you already know who I got winning this series. I mean, I got to rock with my Celtics. My mind's telling me the Nets are going to win this series, and I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. But I got to rock with my Celtics, obviously. But let me talk about it, okay? On paper, the Celtics are right on board with the Nets. which is what is expected, on paper. But that's the problem. That's on paper. You know what I mean? The Celtics have been losing games, too many of them, and they can't afford to do that against the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not saying sweep them. That's unless if you want to pull a Columbus Blue Jackets to the Tampa Bay Lightning, then I just don't see this team actually sweeping the Brooklyn Nets. But only way for the Boston Celtics, obviously without Jaylen Brown, that's gonna hurt them a lot. But the only way for the Boston Celtics to win this series is if they stay consistent, just like the Milwaukee Bucks. They need to play better on defense. They need to just be consistent on offense. Stop relying too much on Jason Tatum, like you and I mentioned before. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can see the Boston Celtics winning this series. So I'll say this, okay? Statistically, I got the Brooklyn Nets winning this series, but I'm not a stat line. I'm a fan, so I got my Boston Celtics. I gotta root for my Boston Celtics. So you already know who I gotta go with, but we all know who's gonna win this series.
Yeah, I got the Nets in 5. I think it's going to be a close 5 games. I really do, because like you said, they're on par with the Nets right there. But again, the Nets just have too much. If I got the Nets in 5 if all 3 members play. But again, they're so unpredictable. You just never know which one's going to play and which one's not. All 3 of them, you just never know. But if all 3 are playing, I got the Nets winning in 5. But I think it's going to be a close 5. I think the Boston Celtics are going to play with all their heart. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to matter. I got the Brooklyn Nets in 5.
Absolutely. So let's get to the next game on the list. Give it to me. It's the number 5 seeded Dallas Mavericks and number 4 seeded LA Clippers. This is going to be a good series, Mario. I'm gonna enjoy watching this one. And by the way, in case you didn't know, all these games are going to be played on Saturday. The first one that I'm going to mention. This one's being played tomorrow, I believe, at 6. You want to look that up for me, Mario? What time the game is on at? Or in the Celtics one too. I don't think I mentioned that, but while you do that, let me go to team stats real quick. I'll start with the Clippers. They average 114 points per game comparison to Dallas Mavericks 112.4. Rebound wise, LA Clippers they average 44.2 rebounds per game comparison to the Mavericks 43.3. Assists, the Clippers average 24.4 assists per game comparison to Dallas Mavericks 22.9. Steals, the Clippers average 7.1 steals comparison to the Mavericks 6.3. As for blocks, again, Clippers average 4.1, Dallas Mavericks 4.3, so they have an edge on that just a little bit. Field goal percentage, Clippers average 48.2% and comparison to the Mavericks 47. 3-point percentage, LA Clippers average 41.1 and the Dallas Mavericks 36.2. And free throw percentage, the Clippers at 83.9 comparison to the Dallas Mavericks 77.8. So that's really kind of the only lopsided stat right there. And even then, it's not really as lopsided as you think. This is going to be a really good series, Mario. Obviously, on the Dallas Mavericks, you got Luka Doncic, you got Kristaps Porzingis, and then on the other side, on the LA Clippers, you got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and so many others. And it's going to be a really good series, Mario. It really is. And you know what? We'll do this. I got the Clippers in 7. I think this is going to be a very, very close series. I think it's going to be a really good one. And when you look at it again, it's just like the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. On paper, they're really close to each other. They're not that far off. But only difference between the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics is that this is number 5 versus number 4. The Nets and Celtics is number 7 versus number 2. So realistically, this is going to be a really good series, Mario. So, but at the end of the day, I got the Clippers winning in 7 games, and they better win too, because this is a team that's never been to the Western Conference Finals before, and they need to prove that they can make it there. So, give me the Clippers to win in 7.
I agree with you completely. I got the Clippers in 7 as well. And again, another close game. Luka Doncic is just an amazing player. Again, a once-in-a-generation player. But the same thing you can say for like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Here's the thing. Luka Doncic is just on another level, and I think he's going to get this team to 7 games. But at the end of the day, I got the Clippers winning this. I can't see the Clippers having a choke like they did last year. And this is revenge for Luka. Remember last year Dallas got eliminated. I believe it was like 5 or 6 to the Clippers, but they did get eliminated by the Clippers. So this is revenge for him. But at the end of the day, I think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to do what they need to do to get this team to the next round. And again, I need to see this, Nate. I need to see that Western Conference final, at least somehow in the Western Conference. I need to see the Lakers versus the Clippers. I got to see it because we didn't see it last year. Unfortunately, we didn't see it. But I cannot see the Clippers choking again. And I said to myself, this is gonna light a fire up Kawhi. And I think the fire is kind of starting, Nate. And I think you're gonna start seeing it in this series. But I will say this. Even if the Clippers do face the Lakers, this right here will be the toughest series the Clippers will play. I truly believe that is the Dallas Mavericks, especially if Luka and Kristaps are healthy. So with that being said, I got the Clippers winning. I just think the experience right there between Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, I just think it's going to come in handy, and I think they're going to win the 7. And to answer the question, before you continue, the Clippers game is on at 4:30 tomorrow, and the Celtics game is on at 8 o'clock tomorrow.
Right, and the Mavericks and Clippers game, that's going to be at the Staples Center, and the Celtics and Nets, that's going to be at the Barclays Center. So best of luck to those teams. Not too much luck to the Nets because, of course, they're facing my Celtics, but you get my point. All right, now let's get to the next series, okay? We got to talk about this one. It's going to be another good series, Mario. Give it to me. It's the number 3 Nuggets and the number 6 Trailblazers. This is going to be a really good series, Mario. I'm going to enjoy watching this one as well. Let me start off with stats first. I'll start off with the Denver Nuggets. They have 115. They average 115.1 points per game, comparison to the Blazers 116.1. So they have an edge on them just a little bit on that. Rebounds, they're basically one and the same. The Denver Nuggets average 44.4 rebounds per game in comparison to the Blazers 44.5. So they're basically right on top of each other on that. As for assists, the Nuggets have 26.8 assists per game in comparison to the Blazers 21.3. So they have an edge on them over that. Steals, Nuggets have 8.1 per game compared to the Blazers 6.9. Same thing with blocks. Denver Nuggets have 4.5, Blazers have 5 per game. So that's pretty good. Field goal percentage. The Nuggets have 48.5% per game, and then the Blazers have 45.3 per game. 3-point percentage, the Nuggets have 37.7 comparison to the Blazers 38.5. And as for free throw percentage, Mario, the Nuggets have 80.3% comparison to the Blazers 82.3. So this is another on paper statistically really close 2 teams, Mario. And this is going to be a really good series too. But at the end of the day, Mario, I just can't see Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers beating the Denver Nuggets. I got the Nuggets winning in 6 games. I don't think it's going to be an easy series win for the Nuggets, but at the end of the day, I still got to win the series nonetheless.
Yeah, I'll take Nuggets in 6 games. And it's kind of weird because these 2 teams play each other a lot in the playoffs.
Right.
They did. I believe last time they played each other in the playoffs, I believe it was a couple years ago. I could be wrong. It might have, a couple years ago. I think the Blazers beat them out in Game 7 and ended up going to the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors before they eventually getting swept.
Right. Yeah.
But I got the Nuggets in 6. I do too. I think Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are going to put up a fight, but at the end of the day, MVP Jokic is going to end up going off, I feel like. And Jamal Murray in the playoffs, if he ends up putting out performances that he did last year, I could definitely see the Nuggets sweeping them too. But I'm going to go with, I don't think he's going to have that great of a performance in the playoffs as he did last year. So I'm going to go to Nuggets in 6.
Right, absolutely. And that game's going to be on tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. at the Pepsi Center in Denver. So make sure you guys go check that out. Now let's go to the Sunday games. There's 3 of those. Ready, Mario? This one's gonna be a good series. Let's talk about it. Give it to me. It's the number 2 Phoenix Suns and the number 7 LA Lakers. Wow, this is gonna be a really good series, Mario. And I'm gonna be honest, as the defending champions, this is gonna be a tough series for the LA Lakers. This is a chance for them to prove themselves that even though they're a number 7 seed, they're still going to defend their title the way every title defender should. Now let's get to the stats. Okay, I'll start with the Phoenix Suns. They average 115.3 points per game comparison to the Lakers 109.5. Rebounds, the Lakers have them beyond that. The Suns have 42.9 rebounds per game in comparison to the Lakers 44.2. Assists, the Suns has 26.9. Assists per game comparison to the Lakers 24.7. Steals, the Suns have 7.2 a game comparison to the Lakers 7.8. Blocks, the Suns have 4.3 blocks per game comparison to the Lakers 5.4. Field goal percentage, the Suns have 49, the Lakers have 47.2. 3-point percentage, the Suns have 37.8 and the Lakers have 35.4. And free throw percentage, Mario, the Suns have 83.4 and the Lakers have 73.9, sir. So overall, the Lakers are a relatively better defending team, but offensively, the Suns have proven better. This is going to be a really good series, Mario. I'm going to be honest. This is a proven point for the defending champion Lakers. They have to defend their title one way or another, and they have to do it in the hardest way possible. They haven't really been good this offseason. Oh, not the offseason, the regular season, but now they're in the playoffs again. And a lot of people are favoriting the LA Lakers because again, you can't count out LeBron. I'm not going to count him out, but I don't know, man. The Phoenix Suns have played really good this year, and I think they're going to continue to prove that. Oh man, this one's tough, Mario. All right, you know what? You're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. Yeah. May the gods bless me. Give me Lakers in 7, Mario. I just can't count out LeBron. As good as the Phoenix Suns team is, I'm not counting them out, but I can't count LeBron out either. May the gods bless me, but you know what? Just give me Lakers in 7.
I got Lakers in 6, and I think the free throws are going to cost them a couple of games. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is getting to 7. I don't. I can't see Chris Paul getting this. Chris Paul leading that team to 7 games against LeBron James. When it counts leadership, I got LeBron all the way against Chris Paul. And Chris Paul has been a great leader for a lot of teams. He's taken a lot of teams to the playoffs. But I got the Lakers in 6 games. I think Anthony Davis and LeBron are going to be too much size for DeAndre Ayton to even handle, no matter which one it is. Devin Booker and Chris Paul are going to have great games, but at the end of the day, I got the Lakers in 6. But I do think those 2 games that they are going to lose, I think they're going to end up missing some crucial free throws. I think that's going to cost them. So give me the Lakers in 6. Even though the Suns are the number 2 team, still I can't bet against LeBron either. But I got the Lakers in 6.
Right, absolutely. And that game's going to be on Sunday, May 23rd. It's going to be on at 3:30 p.m. It's going to be at the Talking Stick Resort Arena. What an interesting name for an arena. But yeah, it's going to be there in Phoenix. So make sure you guys go check that out. Let's get to the next series, Mario. Give it to me. It's the number 1 seeded 76ers and the number 8 seeded Wizards. We talked about this before in the last basketball video. So go check that out. But let's get to the stats real quick, Mario. Team stats. I'll start off with the 76ers. This one's a surprising stat, Mario. They have 113.6 points per game on average, comparison to the Wizards 116.6. So they have a beat on that, Mario. As for rebounds, they're basically right on top of each other. The Sixers average 45.1 rebounds per game, comparison to the Wizards 45.2. So they're literally right on top of each other on that. As for assists, again, the Wizards have them beat on that, Mario, and you can thank Russell Westbrook for that one. But the 76ers average 23.7 assists per game, comparison to the Wizards 25.5. So again, the Wizards have them beat on that. As for steals, Mario, the Sixers have the Wizards beat. They have 9.1 steals per game in comparison to the Wizards 7.3. Blocks, the Sixers average 6.2 blocks per game in comparison to the Wizards 4.1. Field goal percentage, they're right on top of each other, Mario. Once again, Sixers have a 47.6 field goal percentage comparison to the Wizards 47.5. As for the 3-point percentage, the Sixers average 37.4% comparison to the Wizards 35.1. And free throw percentage, again, they're right on top of each other. Sixers have 76.7 and the Wizards have 76.9. So they basically beat them out by 0.2 points. Statistically, again, just like the Nets and Celtics, on paper, they're right on top of each other, pretty much. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, most of sometimes stats can be wrong and they just don't even matter at that point. I got the Sixers winning the series, but how many games? Good question. I think this will go either 5 or 6. I'll say that. I can't tell you which one because I have a feeling Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal are going to give this team a lot of trouble. And the Sixers really the Sixers are another team that hasn't had much playoff success the last few seasons, but I think they're going to snap that narrative as well. So give me the Sixers. I'll go Sixers in 6. I think the Wizards will give them a tough time. I'm going to be honest with you, but yeah, I still got the Sixers winning the series either way.
I got Sixers in 5.
You got Sixers in 5.
I don't think Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook are going to give them that much trouble. A little bit. I can see Bradley Beal having like a 50-point game or Russell Wilson having a monstrous triple-double, but that's only one game. here's the thing, Nate. You also got to remember they got a defensive player of the year candidate in Ben Simmons. They have a great center, and he is a good defensive center in Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris is a lethal player as well. You just got to. I just think the Sixers are going to be too much for that Wizards team to handle, in my opinion. And when you're there's no way I can see Robin Lopez, who is your starting center. I can't see him having a good game against Joel Embiid. If you want to put Gafford on him, fine, but I can't see that either. But yeah, I think the Wizards might have one game, whether it's Beal or Westbrook, one of the two. I can see them having like a insanely great game to win one game, but other than that, they're gonna have to do it every time, and I can't see that happening. So with that being said, give me the Sixers in 5.
Absolutely, and that game's going to be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Oh, no, actually, no, my bad. It's on Sunday, May 23rd, 1 p.m. at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. So make sure you guys go check that out. Now let's talk about the last game on the weekend, Mario. This is the series I'm very, very excited for. Give it to me. It's the number 4 seeded Knicks and the number 5 seeded Hawks. This is going to be a really good series, Mario. And again, we touched up a little bit on this one before as well. In the Nick McKillen video. Well, let's get to the team stats, okay? Well, I'll start off with the Knicks. They average 107 points per game in comparison to the Hawks 113.7, so they do have them beat on that. As for rebounds, they're basically right on top of each other. Knicks average 45.1 rebounds per game. The Hawks average 45.6 rebounds a game, so they're right there on each other. As for assists, the Knicks average 21.4 assists per game. The Hawks average 24.1 assists per game. Steals, both teams at 7, so they're really on board with each other on that. Blocks, the Knicks have 5.1 blocks per game. The Atlanta Hawks have 4.8 blocks per game. Field goal percentage, New York Knicks have 45.6% comparison to the Hawks 46.8. 3-point percentage, the Knicks at 39.2%, and the Hawks at 37.3. And free throw percentage, the Knicks at 78.4%. And the Hawks have 81.2%. This is going to be a really good series, Mark. I can definitely see this one going to 7 games. Statistically, when you look at it, the Hawks are a better team, but I don't care about stats half the time. I just want to see the Knicks succeed, and I want to see Stephen A. Smith on First Take going nuts. I want to see that man happy. He deserves to be happy. You know, the Knicks haven't been a good team in a long, long time. So I like to see people happy. So you know what, Mario? I'll go with the Knicks in 7 games. I'll go with either 6 or 7. I'll rock with the Knicks on this one.
I agree. I got Knicks in 7. Look, this is going to be a very, very good game. The matchup I'm interested in seeing is Julius Randle versus Clint Capella. That's the matchup I'm interested in seeing because Clint Capella is a very good center as well. Like, I mean, he's not all-star good, but he is very good. You know, and defensively, he has his moments. And I think that could be a big issue for Julius Randle. But at the end of the day, the Knicks are a good defensive team all around. And again, who knows what Trae Young's going to do as well. He's obviously the key factor to that too. Trae Young can light it up when he wants to. Man, that guy got range. That dude can shoot it from the parking lot. Dude can shoot it from Mars. Dude can shoot it from any distance he wants to shoot it from. But at the end of the day, I think the Knicks are a very smart defensive team. And I think they're going to do what they need to do to kind of limit Trae Young from going off. You know, he will have his nights, you know, because he is Trae Young. He will have his nights where he will go off and he will end up producing points for the Atlanta Hawks, which is why I got this going to 7. But in the 7th game, I can see the Knicks absolutely dominating the Hawks. I think 7 games would be enough for the Knicks defensively to strategize what to do, and I think they're going to do it. So with that being said, I got Knicks in 7.
Absolutely, you know, and that's it for the playoff games this weekend. You know, the Jazz are also playing this weekend, but their opponent's undetermined yet because that's the winner between.
Let's predict that too.
You know what? Yeah, screw it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Let's do it.
I'm gonna make it easy. Okay. We don't have the stats right now because we can't tell you because it hasn't happened yet. But let me tell you something. If it's the Warriors, I got the Warriors in 6.
You mean the Wizards?
Number 1 seed and taking them out. If it's the Grizzlies, I got the
Jazz.
No.
You're right. Never mind. Continue.
If it's the Grizzlies, I got the Jazz in 4. I think they sweep them.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree as well. As for the Warriors one, though, I agree with the Memphis Grizzlies one. I think they'll go for a sweep on that. As for the Warriors one, I think if the Warriors do go, I think that'll be a 7-game series. I'll be honest. I think Steph Curry's a lot of trouble. Same thing with Draymond Green's a lot of trouble, Mario. But
I agree.
if the Warriors do go, I think that will be a 7-game series. That's going to be a really good
I
series.
agree.
As for the
I agree.
Memphis
I just think Steph Curry is too great of a player not to get that team out the first round. I
oh,
think Draymond
absolutely.
Green is too good of a defensive player, and that would be a good series. We got two defensive player of the year candidates, and that's in that matchup between and Gobert and Draymond. If it gets to it, that could determine who becomes the defensive player of the year, a potential.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. I love Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, I think he is a great all-around player, and I think that he's going to give the Warriors a little bit of trouble, which is why I say 6. But at the end of the day, Steph Curry has faced the very, very best, and him and that Warriors team, especially Steve Kerr, they know what to do to stop that. So
Right. Absolutely.
I got the Warriors in 6. If it's the Grizzlies, I just think the spotlight is too big for John Morant to face off against somebody like Donovan Mitchell, who has been in the playoffs every single year for the past 3 years. I just think it's too much. And not only that,
Absolutely.
Valanciunas versus Gobert, I'll take Gobert or lock down Valanciunas every single time. That's why I have it at 4.
Right. Absolutely. That series is going to be on Sunday as well. On May 23rd, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Jazz get to face whoever wins this next playoff game, this next play-in tournament game between the Warriors and Grizzlies. So make sure you go check that out tonight and check out that game on Sunday night. So with that being said, best of luck to all the teams playing. Best of luck to the players, the coaches, the executives. Best of luck to all of them. And we will catch you guys on Monday with some results.